Montreal is considered one of the most beautiful and scenic cities in the world, with plenty of old world charm.
Montreal isn't only known for its city vibe and nightlife, it's also known for its historic architecture, cobblestone streets, and the Notre-Dame Basilica.
Well, I'm so excited because I have always wanted to come to Montreal, literally my entire life.
They kept the old style buildings, very beautiful place.
This part of town is so beautiful, hundreds of years.
This doesn't feel like Canada.
Europe?
Europe, yeah.
This whole area is a vibe.
How is the place so casually cool? How?
How amazing. This is so cool.
Whoa, that is so cool. Suddenly, we're in France.
It's like a European vibe. I feel like Montreal's like Europe away from Europe.
100 years ago, the skyline of Montreal was dominated by spires. On a visit here, Mark Twain said, "It is impossible to throw a rock in Montreal without hitting a church window."
Montreal is often known as the city of churches. You feel like you've woken up in Europe as you walk from church to church, savoring the sights and sounds of Montreal.
Those are the bells of Notre Dame.
It's amazing, isn't it? We are not in America anymore.
As you're walking around Montreal, you'll see a lot of iconic churches. But as we've done our research online, the most iconic of them all is the Notre-Dame.
One of the most famous churches in all of Canada. This is Notre-Dame. Look at the size of this if I bend down a little bit.
It's a very, very big church. On its completion, Notre-Dame was the largest church in all of North America.
There's Notre-Dame.
It's so beautiful. I've just always wanted to see it.
Oh my God, there it is. How beautiful.
Notre-Dame Basilica, one of the most gorgeous structures in Canada. It's an architectural marvel, especially when it's decked out in lights.
From the exterior, the church might not appear that extraordinary, but the interior is where it receives this claim of fame.
Notre-Dame Basilica is what we call the jewel of Montreal, and they say that if you come to Montreal and you haven't seen the inside of the basilica, then you haven't seen Montreal.
So historic. I think it's the most iconic monument when it comes to Montreal.
Yeah.
11 million people visit the Notre-Dame Basilica every year, making it one of the most visited monuments in North America.
It's so pretty, and Celine Dion got married here, guys.
This is where Celine Dion actually got married. However, if you want to get married here, you'll be on a waiting list for 2 years.
Every single time I pass by, there's always a wedding going on or someone doing a very grand photo shoot here.
It's even well worth a comparison to the legendary Notre-Dame de Paris.
Did you know that Montreal has its own Notre Dame? It's the Notre-Dame Basilica, not the cathedral, a very similar look-alike. It's a tourist destination and active church in the middle of Old Town Montreal. It is beautiful.
Notre-Dame Church overlooks the Place d'Armes, where the troops of New France used to drill, and the city's founder, Sieur de Maisonneuve, still protects it with his sword.
Before the construction of the basilica we see today, there was the Church of Notre-Dame, whose construction began in 1672.
Founded in 1656, Montreal's oldest church, Notre-Dame Basilica, stands in a far grander incarnation than the original.
In 1672, a stone church was erected in the village of Montreal, at the axis of Notre Dame Street, in what's now Place d'Armes.
It was in use until the early 19th century when it was replaced by the current basilica. Its footprint is marked out in paving stones in the square Place d'Armes.
The first version was white outline, and apparently the foundations are still in place.
When Montreal outgrew its second church, this new basilica was built between 1824 and 1829. It was the very first Gothic Revival-style church in all of Canada, and also the largest church in all of North America at the time. It is big enough to hold nearly 4,000 people.
As the congregation grew, the parish council decided to build not just another church, but rather a spectacular monument.
It was the Scottish Presbyterian merchants and bankers who chose an Irish Protestant architect to build a French-Canadian Roman Catholic church, and there's Hebrew writing everywhere. So a little bit odd.
Wow, guys. Presenting the Notre-Dame.
Look at that thing. Woo, it's like a big castle.
I see Notre-Dame, the Basilica in the background.
Oh, this is it. This is Notre-Dame Cathedral. The most famous church in Canada, by far.
Now, before you say this is just another ordinary church, I promise you the inside is insane.
It's absolutely stunning inside if you're coming here and it's opened up.
It's a must do.
Today, the
building is on Canada's National Historic Sites Registry and boasts 11 million visitors per year.
Wow, it's so big and so many people are here.
Wow, lots of people.
I really want to see what it looks like inside. What do you think?
I'm excited. I wonder if it's going to live up to the expectation, because the one in Paris is beautiful.
Everywhere online said that this is one of the most beautiful basilicas you can visit.
The lineup is usually pretty long, but it does move quickly, so don't worry too much about that.
We're trying to get into the basilica right now, but there's a big line. Let's see if we can get in today.
The line is looking promising, y'all. It's not going all the way around the block.
There's a huge line. The line goes around and up.
I think it's gonna take more than an hour, but I'm gonna make it worth it.
Okay, Paula, this is promising.
Yeah. I think we can do this.
We can get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this line is a lot better. So today, third time's a charm, we're finally making it. Wow.
All right, you guys, I have been very excited to do this. This is one of the finest church ever.
I think this is like the main attraction of Montreal. Like if you go here and you don't come here, you shouldn't have come to Montreal. I'm about to go see the Vatican. I gotta get a picture of love this shit.
We're almost there. You excited?
You do have to pay to visit the basilica.
The basilica is free to enter during Mass, but charges an entrance fee during tourist hours to help with the upkeep of the structure, similar to other churches around the world, like Westminster Abbey in London.
With the swing of a door, we soon lay our eyes on an architectural treasure.
Whoa. Whoa. Wow.
God, this is so beautiful. When people walk in here, no matter who it is, the reaction is always the same.
Oh, Tyler, look. Are you serious? What do you think? I told you it's just like the picture.
It's just a stunning display of architecture.
Wow.
Did I die? Is this Earth? As soon as you open the door, you just feel like you're somewhere else. Wow. Oh my gosh.
As soon as I walked in, the color and design of the main altar immediately grabbed my attention. I've been to churches all over the world, but it was unlike anything I've seen before.
It is one of the most beautiful buildings I think I've ever been in. I've never seen such splendor in a church or basilica like this.
The interior of this basilica is spectacular. I don't think we've ever seen a more colourful cathedral.
I was in awe upon entering the church. Beautiful was an understatement.
This place is absolutely stunning. Look at that. This is stunning.
This is
Look at the ceiling. This is stunning.
Look at this stair thing.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Looks amazing.
The sanctuary has elements of a fairy tale castle.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This is insane. Wow. This is amazing.
It's really amazing. I couldn't believe my eyes.
I don't know what to say about this place. It's so...
I don't even have words to describe it.
Very beautiful. The architecture there is out of this world. I haven't seen anything like that ever. It's so humbling to be in a place where it was built so many centuries ago and it's so beautiful.
Yo sinceramente es que no tenía idea de que existía semejante edificación aquí.
This place is quite possibly one of the most spectacular places I've been ever. I'm going on record and saying that.
In 2023, Angi, a group that compiles TripAdvisor reviews, ranked Notre-Dame Basilica as the 6th most beautiful building in the entire world.
Guys, this cathedral is the most beautiful cathedral we've been so far. The architectural inside will have you mesmerized and staring at every precise detail to make sure that you don't miss anything of the designs and the sculptures.
The details are just jaw-dropping. So beautiful.
Extremely beautiful, mesmerizing. I've never been to a church before. Intricately designed. I cannot even describe the feeling. Every inch of this church has been very thoughtfully designed.
Wow, there are no words to say the beauty of this place. Really blows my mind.
You know it's a good place to come when you feel like you can stay in that place forever.
The nave and pulpit of Notre-Dame Basilica rivals many of the grand cathedrals in Europe in its splendor, and its deeper, darker color palette is a refreshing change from the vast expanses of stone in Europe's older cathedrals.
The inside of the church was originally painted gray and white, and behind the altar there were windows, so as the sun would rise it would actually blind the congregation. It's not like that anymore. The altar itself is absolutely stunning.
In the mid-1860s, the parish priest visited Paris, France, and he was inspired by the Sainte-Chapelle Basilica. So upon his return, he hired an architect to completely remodel the inside of the church.
The intricate and resplendent interior was designed by Victor Bourgeot. Highlights are the magnificent carved pulpit, the 7,000 pipe organ, and the stained glass windows portraying scenes from the founding of Montreal.
It's all made of wood, and they chose wood especially so it would keep the warmth better than stone for the winter. They used cedar for the ceiling and the roof because it's really light. They used oak for the pews. The most impressive are the columns. There are 16 columns, they're all around the nave, and each one is made of one 14 meters high pine tree. Each column supports 41 tons of the weight of the roof.
How much do you think we make if we scrapped all the gold in here? It's all gold.
It is real, it's definitely all gold.
All our gold.
Everything is gold, even the golden details on the decoration. It's all gold. Gold paint, bas reliefs of gold, 23 carats. Because it can last 250 years without losing its shine.
Look at these things, it looks like gold leaf. I presume hand painted.
It's incredibly beautiful, yeah.
I mean, look at all the work that went into here. There's paintings everywhere, stained glass windows.
New stained glass windows were installed to mark the centennial celebrations in 1929. According to the Basilica, the stained glass windows are representations of the history of the foundation of Montreal. This makes the stained glass at Montreal Basilica unique, because stained glass usually depicts biblical scenes or motifs.
The stained glass is just remarkable.
Look at that one, he's carrying the cross.
First time that I've ever seen stained glass windows with indigenous people depicted in them. So that's kind of interesting. Normally, it's all white folks. It's stained glass windows.
Any angle that you stand from, it just looks incredible.
It's pretty cool, huh, guys?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
The very front.
The very front? Why do you like the very front?
Because it's so pretty.
Because it's so pretty. I always love the carvings at the front of the church. It's so intricate and elaborate.
The high altar, it contains really pretty ambient lighting, which illuminates it beautifully. Probably one of the most gorgeous altars I've ever seen.
In the center, Jesus on the cross. On one side is Mother Mary. On the other side, St. John. And kneeling at Jesus' feet, Mary Magdalena. At the very top, you see Jesus crowning his Mother Mary. And when Jesus wears a crown, it means that he's already gone to heaven. So he's crowning his mother to show that she's coming up to heaven with him.
The reason why the main altar is blue, it's the colors of the Virgin Mary. It has nothing to do with the sky.
Why so much blue? This is where it gets really cool. Remember how Montreal was originally named Ville Marie? Well, that is of course after the Virgin Mary, the patron saint of Montreal. Now of course we're inside Notre-Dame Basilica, that is Our Lady, of course again about Mary. That also explains why you see so much blue everywhere, from the floor on into the back of the altar and all over the ceiling, because this shade of blue is the official color of the Virgin Mary.
I mean, look at the ceiling. It looks like a carpet, stars on it.
Looks like the ceiling's in the place in the Grand Palace in Dubai.
Crazy, just even on the roof alone.
Oh, spectacular this roof is.
That star-spangled ceiling representing heaven.
And for the ceiling with all the stars, there are 4,500 stars on the ceiling, and each star carved in a leaf of gold, 23 carats, and then put on.
Just look at that staircase.
To the side is a wooden pulpit. On ground level are sculptures of two prophets from the Old Testament.
Unbelievable. These stairs, magnificent.
So this is called the pulpit of truth, and in the old days the priest would go all the way over there, and he would not need any sort of electronic microphone or anything, and everybody in the church would be able to hear him. He says God in Hebrew inside that triangle right there. Across the altar and above the entrance is a French symphonic organ with 7,000 pipes.
The other thing which the Basilica is quite well known for is Canada's largest set of pipe organs.
Whoa, look at the organ. Holy cow.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice this. That thing is huge.
It's massive.
When you walk into this church, you're already overcome by just how beautiful it is. And as you walk down a little bit, you turn around and you see this wall of organ pipes just raised up. It's absolutely incredible to see.
This organ has 7,000 pipes.
Where?
7,000 pipes. From here, we only see 56, but you see the 2 longest pipes. They are on each side, 10 meters high, 32 feet high. All the pipes are hidden inside the organ. It's like a forest of pipes back there.
At the world-renowned Basilica of Notre-Dame, Pierre Grandmaison has played the organ for luminaries like the Pope and at the wedding of Celine Dion, who was married here in 1994.
I had the pleasure to play for the marriage of Celine Dion.
The organist, Pierre Grandmaison, musical genius. He started university in music. He was only 13 years old. Finished his training in France, came back here in 1973, and since then, he's our main organist. It's been 45 years this year.
There is a little chapel behind the altar that is the #1 spot to get married in Montreal, and everything in it is bronze. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I believe there is a chapel behind the altar here. It's closed, but you can kind of see inside.
The doors are glass doors. You can still see very well the chapel and the altar on the front. 20 tons of bronze. So it's worth it just to take a peek.
Architects Perrault and Menard were entrusted with the construction of a chapel for smaller gatherings. The chapel, named Notre-Dame du Sacré-Cœur, was completed in 1891 and is located at the back of the basilica.
Make sure to go behind the altar to see this. We almost didn't go behind there, and I'm so glad we did.
Another cathedral within the cathedral? Yeah, this place is definitely worth visiting.
In 1984, when Pope John Paul II visited, he raised the status of this Roman Catholic church to basilica. Soon after, it was also named a National Historic Site of Canada.
The Notre-Dame Basilica is a masterpiece and it has hosted many important events in Canada's history.
It's also the church which is best known for state funerals. For example, our former Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau, former mayors.
This is actually where Justin Trudeau, our current Prime Minister, gave his eulogy for his father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Le 3 octobre 2000, ses funérailles nationales sont célébrées à la Basilique Notre-Dame de Montréal.
Voilà M. Castro qui arrive maintenant. Ah oui.
In October 2000, the state funeral of former Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau took place at the Basilica, leading to a spectacular moment in history when Cuban President Fidel Castro came face-to-face with former American President Jimmy Carter.
Ah, mais qui est en train de causer avec Jimmy Carter, là, c'est quand même intéressant.
Ah oui, ça, c'est ça.
Hey, c'est extraordinaire, là, c'est une image, là, c'est quelque chose. Ça, c'est vraiment exceptionnel, ce que vous voyez.
Monsieur Trudeau serait heureux de voir ça. Voir ça aujourd'hui à Montréal, à l'église Notre-Dame, je crois que c'est un moment historique.
A final farewell for the rocket. Tens of thousands pay tribute to the legendary hockey player one last time.
Montreal said goodbye today to Maurice Richard. He'd been famous, even legendary, for more than half a century.
Today, as they did half a century ago, thousands of people gathered in Montreal to celebrate the man they called the Rocket. A grand funeral was held for one of hockey's greatest players.
Tens of thousands lined the route he sometimes took as a young man when he was a champion, when Stanley Cup parades through Montreal were commonplace. It was a long time ago. Quebec never forgot.
He was the first non-politician to be honored by the province of Quebec with a state funeral.
At Notre-Dame Cathedral, thousands more, including a few who played with Richard and who watched as he became a Quebec icon.
Thank you for making this game a very popular game so we can come along and make a living with it.
Every piece of sidewalk within view of the basilica was jealously guarded.
I was here at 7:45. Unique.
A unique event, a unique man, he says.
They were all here to mourn a man who was born to a Montreal working-class family who became an athlete and who often described himself as just a hockey player. He was wrong. It was one of the biggest public funerals ever held in Montreal. People paid their respects as they could. Quebec star Jeanette Renaud did it by singing.
Ceux qui s'en vont, ceux qui relèvent,
The emotion of the day was not lost on anyone.
A tribute to a man who was the greatest scorer of his time, a ruthless competitor who even 40 years after he retired remained one of the greatest sports heroes in Canada's history. And for the last time, the city said goodbye. Tom Kennedy, CBC News, Montreal.
Celine Dion's heartbreaking goodbye to her husband of 21 years. Celine and her children were grieving at the state funeral, which many celebrities attended in Montreal for the man she called the love of her life.
It was the farewell René Angelil had planned at the very church where he married his love, Celine Dion, more than 2 decades ago.
So many of us love Celine, but she has such a special connection with her native Canadian province of Quebec. They really are like the royal family here. And if Celine is the queen, then René was her prince.
In one of the most poignant moments, René Charles took to the pulpit.
The couple's eldest, René Charles, had a message for his papa.
15 years is not a long time for a son to get to know his father, but we were communicating through golf, hockey, poker, and smoked meat.
Yesterday at the wake, Celine spent about 7 hours accepting condolences from mourners, including ET Canada's Natasha Gargiulo.
I walked up to her and she said, "Hi, you. It's nice to see you again." And I told her that I admired her for all of her strength, and she had said that it was day by day, but René would want her to carry on, and that's exactly why she was there.
Dion was expected to stay only a few minutes, but though at times the grief seemed overwhelming, hour after hour she stood by her husband's casket, greeting visitors, taking time with each one, still here, even after she was too exhausted to stand and trembling. But each mourner left with a note from Dion saying she understood her career was his masterpiece, his song, his symphony, that she understood that she had to continue without him, for him.
He and Celine built the greatest Canadian success story internationally that I'm aware of. He was a terrific gentleman.
The most recent state funeral for a prime minister was in March 2024 for Canada's 18th PM, Brian Mulroney.
From the heart of Montreal, where an outpouring of emotion was felt across the city today and the nation, celebrating a lasting legacy, the former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney laid to rest. A procession from St. Patrick's Basilica honoring his Irish heritage to Notre-Dame Basilica, where friends and family paid tribute to a leader they say helped shape Canada today.
Centuries-old Notre-Dame Basilica has seen history unfold before, but Canada's farewell to its Prime Minister today marked a notable chapter. Invited guests joined the Mulroney family, politicians, of course, but also business leaders, actors, and sports figures.
He goes, "Young man, remember 1993? That was a great victory for the Montreal Canadiens, right?" And I said, "Sir, I was on the other team." That wasn't so great for me. He goes, no, but it was wonderful for the country. I go, okay, great, good for you. I'm so proud to be Canadian today, to see past prime ministers here, the current prime minister. That's what our country is all about, coming together, helping other people, and paying respects.
At night, the Basilica comes alive with the light and sound show Aura. It is an amazing fusion of old and new and is definitely worth seeing.
The Aura Light Show, and it's located inside Basilica. Oh my gosh, this show lasted for around almost half an hour. It's so worth it. Every single minute, every single second of the show, it was amazing.
I think it was the highlight of my entire trip in Montreal.
Same here.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's moving, it's gorgeous. I so recommend going to the Aura Show. We liked it so much, we saw it twice. We went the next night as well.
You don't even have to be religious or anything to enjoy this show.
Yeah,
I know
I
it's
agree.
inside a church, but it was fantastic.
It doesn't matter what religion you are. You just feel that holiness. You just feel that peace. And to me, all religion should be calling for that inner peace. And this place, as soon as you enter, you just feel it.
I'm not a person that always likes to see really religious things when I travel, but this is kind of a must-do.
TripAdvisor notes the cathedral as being #1 out of 440 things to see in Montreal.
Wow!
That was crazy, man.
How was it, Gabby J?
Gorgeous in there. Like,
all right.
Like, what's the word? Basically, I was in awe. Beautiful.
It definitely has that Europe churches vibe.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen a church that beautiful before.
This was a truly, really masterpiece. I could never believe my eyes. I saw people crying inside, being super emotional inside.
Places.
People actually lining up crying.
This place really moves the people, I guess, really moved their emotion. I was baffled by the architecture and a number of colors it had inside.
It's breathtaking inside. I love the colors in it. I don't know how they made it so vibrant.
I didn't even want to leave. Andy had to pull me out of there. I probably could have spent another hour just sitting there and admiring all the colors.
That was awesome. I'm not going to lie. It's made my day.
That place was impressive.
It was more gorgeous than I even had imagined.
I did not expect that to be as beautiful and cool and overwhelming as it was.
Well, that was absolutely beautiful. We loved it.
Was it worth the money to go in there? Yeah?
Well, that was totally worth seeing. Totally worth seeing. God, what a beautiful city. I just can't get over it.
Absolutely stunning. I've never ever seen a cathedral like it.
Church was beautiful. It was gorgeous. We didn't want to leave the church. That's how beautiful it was.
Gosh, it was just the details. It was just, it was a really great experience.
Beautiful basilica. We were just absolutely mind blown with how incredible that place was.
Seriously, when I saw it in person, I was completely speechless and in absolute awe. It's like stepping into a world of pure enchantment. The intricate details, the majestic architecture, and the mesmerizing atmosphere all combined to create a truly unforgettable experience. Trust me, if you're ever visiting Montreal, you need to visit the Notre-Dame Basilica.
Has to be one of the most dramatic churches I have ever seen. It's definitely not common in North America.
I could safely say that this is the most beautiful church I have seen.
Oh, really? And you've seen a lot?
I've seen a lot.
We've been to Vatican.
We've been to Vatican, I know.
That was amazing. I would say it's better than St. Peter's on the inside.
We've been to many impressive churches around Europe, and still this awed us. It easily makes the list of top things to do in Montreal.
This church is so beautiful. I'm very happy I came here. I got to see this place. If you don't get time to see any of the churches in Montreal, make sure you see at least this one, because this is the most beautiful church I've ever seen. This is the most gorgeous church I have ever seen.
Well, congratulations to Montreal for this. What a gem. What a beauty this is.
I was inspired by the Notre-Dame Basilica, borne witness to centuries of history. Not only gorgeous, but actually receives almost the same amount of visitors as the Notre-Dame Church in Paris.
The most amazing thing about this place is that no matter how many videos you actually watch, nothing can really prepare you for how breathtakingly beautiful this place is.
Notre-Dame is just the granddaddy of beautiful churches in Montreal. There are plenty more throughout the city. Make sure you check out as many as you possibly can.
Look at that. Wow, so beautiful.
I love Montreal right now. It's nice.
Stunning. I literally feel like I'm sitting in a movie set.
This place is something else, man. You need to come yourself and experience it and see what you feel.
As the years pass, this historic landmark continues to inspire and leave a profound impression on all who visit.
The Twin Towers of Notre-Dame were the tallest structure in Montreal for nearly 100 years.
The huge bell tower was not built with the original structure because it was too expensive. It was actually added about 12 years later.
The East Tower was completed in 1843 and houses a carillon of 10 bells which ring every hour from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The bells are just, what time is it? Well, it's 12 noon, and the bells are just absolutely amazing.
There are 10 bells in the tower on the east side, and those are the bells you hear ringing every hour. In the other tower, the one on the west side, there's only one bell.
The West Tower was completed in 1841 and houses the famous Jean-Baptiste bell, the largest in North America. It can be heard within a 15-mile radius and is so powerful it risks damage to the tower.
11 tons, 24,000 pounds, and we can hear it on the whole island of Montreal. Bringing it too often, it even became dangerous long-term for the tower, so now they still do it, but only a few times every year. Christmas, Easter, and for national funerals.
So the Notre-Dame Cathedral was freaking amazing. You can hear the bells right now.
Yeah, you hear the bells. Oh, look at it. It's so cool. So beautiful. Imagine getting married here. As a child, this was my dream church to get married in. It's still mine. It's a 5-year waiting list. I'll just book it now without a fiance or boyfriend.